What is going on, Quest people? My name is Carlos Garcia, and I've taught Quest before. So if you remember me, that's awesome. If you don't, it's okay. It's nice to meet you. So today I want to talk about calling. So I have a calling, you have a calling, everyone has a calling. And so today, though, I want to specifically look at Jeremiah's calling. So if you want to turn with me to Jeremiah chapter 1, we'll start in verse 4 here, and it goes like this. The word of the Lord came to me saying, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Alas, sovereign Lord, now this is Jeremiah speaking, I do not know how to speak. I'm too young. But the Lord said to me, do not say, I am too young. You must go to everyone I send you to and say whatever I command you. Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you and will rescue you, declares the Lord. Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, I have put my words in your mouth. Let's pause right there. There's three things that I want to look at in this passage that has to do with Jeremiah's calling and even your calling and my calling, because we can relate in what happens in Jeremiah's calling. So three things. First thing is that it's the first thing that God says to Jeremiah. He says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. How often do we think that calling is a moment in time that we can remember? Right? For me, it was the summer of 2017. But here, God assures Jeremiah that, hey man, I called you before you were born, before this moment even happened, before this conversation even happened. So you can be confident that God has already planned out everything. Number two, let's look at what Jeremiah says in response to God's calling for him. So he says, I don't know how to speak. I'm too young. In other words, God, why me? I'm not adequate to do what you're calling me to do here. So Jeremiah has a lot of insecurities here. But again, back to point one. God already knew this. God knew that Jeremiah would respond in this way, that he would feel this way about himself. But yet God specifically called Jeremiah to do this specific task, to do this specific role, knowing that he can be successful in it as long as God is with him. So again, rest assured. Point number 3 here. So in response to Jeremiah's response to God, God anoints him. First, he reassures him that I am with you, man. I will rescue you. I'll be there every step of the way. And then he touches his mouth to anoint him. And he says, I will put my words into your mouth. In other words, you're not doing this alone, right? You have the aid of the Spirit, right? We would consider it now the Spirit indwelling in us, giving us the words to say, right? Giving us the ability to love and to be patient and to be kind and all the fruits of the Spirit. And so I know that there are a lot of you guys wrestling with your calling right now. And I too wrestled and I compared, I played the comparison game, but rest assured that God has placed a calling in your life and he wants to use you and he has equipped you to do it successfully. And we do it all in the glory of God. Peace.